Makers Row, and Embark.live. As soon as everybody starts coming in, I'd love it if you can all drop in the chat what brought you here today. I'm going to put that in the chat also. All right. So you have a great business idea. Now you have a product. That's great. Today's talk is going to be just highlighting some of the more high level details of our next week's small class is going to be over, dealing with setting an e-commerce store up and how you can use it for your business. So, like I said, now you have a business idea and now you have a product. That's great. The next problem for most new entrepreneurs and small businesses is how do you get your product in front of people, especially right now where it's really hard for people to be able to, get in front of customers to be seen. The thing you need to do is you need to set yourself up a store. Uh, that's one thing that whenever I go looking for or talking to another potential client of mine, I'm always wondering, how do I see what you have to offer? You can talk to me all day long about it, but how do I see it? So things that are important are setting up your store, being able to be seen when someone searches for you on Google. What I do is I help companies navigate that digital landscape by untangling words like SEO, digital marketing, and Google Analytics. So basically, uh, I help you get your business to the goal it needs to get to, and I help you get it accomplished. There's a few things that you need to take into consideration as far as bidding out an e-commerce store goes. One of them being, you know, you have this idea. Well, what store do you want to, or what tools do you want to use? What are going to be some important, you know, cornerstone pieces that help you to build your business, and how do you build it the right way? One thing to really think about is those tools. Think about that. Think about your skill level, and think about the budget. I have a few options to kind of go over today. They have various pros, various cons. Let me share my screen. I can show you a couple of those real quick. Um, so there's a couple options to choose from. One is called Squarespace. Squarespace is nice for new companies with small transactions. So you're thinking maybe like a first step, or maybe you're getting your feet wet in the idea of selling something in your industry. Um, it's Customer service is not the best, um, and with the more things you add onto it, the higher your price will come out to be. The next option that I have is called Shopify. This has kind of become a big boom as of the last couple of years. It's pretty popular. A lot of people do use it. It comes with really good templates and things like that. What's nice about it is it's a hosted software, so everything is all in one location. You can get your domains here. You can get all of your stuff set up here. It's all in one stop shop place for you. They have 24-hour customer support, and you can support multiple channels of integration. So connecting with like Google Sales or like Amazon Sales, it's all integratable inside Shopify. The only real kind of drawback that I've noticed um, is that they do nickel and dime you a little bit. The more things you want to add on, the prices do go up from the basic starting out price. And the main one that I wanted to kind of touch base about today is called WooCommerce. Uh, what I like about this is it's pretty limitless as far as customization goes. You can get in there, you can create anything you want, however you want it to look. It's pretty integratable as far as adding in custom tools and whatever you're wanting to add. it's really scalable. I've heard people that have had, websites and stores with hundreds of thousands of products using WooCommerce. So it'll definitely provide its value for its price point, which is actually you can use it for free. The only kind of drawback to WooCommerce though is that it's not necessarily beginner friendly, which could become a little bit of a thing. But the more you practice with it or the more you play around with it, you'll get more and more comfortable with it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Also, feel free if anybody has any questions, please feel free to just drop them in the chat. Also, if you want to drop in, what the reason was for you joining in today, or like if you want to say like I'm a product manager or I'm a product owner or whatever you want to, it'll help me to kind of gauge the conversation and answer any questions or do something that might help you to better understand or answer something for you. So uh, moving on, I wanted to suggest you definitely go with the WooCommerce first. I feel like it has a pretty low barrier to entry as far as what's usually kind of important to what I find for small businesses is the money cost. What does it cost to get into it? Um, Assuming you're using WordPress already for your site, you pretty much can just download it as a plugin. It comes in with a fully functional system. Um, you can start creating your products inside the system as well. One thing to consider is, high quality images for your. Oh, hold on, I have a question. Hey James, with WooCommerce, you mentioned you can use it for free. How do they make their money then? What? So, what are the pros and cons with this vendor? So WooCommerce itself, downloading the plugin and setting it up for yourself is completely free. The way they make their money is on the transactions, which any of the other platforms have the same kind of price points. Uh, like they each charge like I think it's like it's an industry standard of like 2.3% per transaction. Uh, so it would be the same across the line. But as far as the software itself, that doesn't actually cost anything. It's free to download the plugin and integrate it into your site. It does. You can depending on the specificity of what you're trying to do and create. It can have its charges, but with the basics of creating your store, getting all the functionality for your checkout, and all the shipping information, all of that can be done uh, for free, other than just the charge on completion. I have a question. Starting fashion T-shirt line first timer. I'm a newbie. Is Shopify the way to make a website or a page? Yeah, you can definitely go Shopify. You can use Shopify to create your sites, to do all the management, do all of the hosting, and you can even get your domain there, I believe. Um, when it comes into what makes it a little bit harder to use is when you want to get customizable with Shopify. It does kind of hold you into this silo that says, I need to conform to whatever my template is. Um, and you kind of are centered in that area. But that doesn't mean that you can't get in there and edit things and decide how you want it to do whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So yes, I hope that answers your question there. Um, let's see. So we have our products. We want to decide. What I was talking about last was how do we get it in front of our customers, our clients. We want to have good quality pictures. Whether or not if you have your own camera, you can do them yourself from home. If you hire a photographer, that's also another possibility. Something I've been kind of looking into myself is trying to create a high quality GIF of my products that will spin um, as you mouse over the products. That's something that I think is kind of cool, and I think that people, especially in the digital world, need to have something like that so they can see what their product is even better. Let's see, I have another comment about WooCommerce. Whatever we may create there, can we transfer our design website and migrate it to a different vendor later? Is there a cost for this type of scenario? Um, so on WooCommerce, if you're adding it as a plugin, you can definitely take your website and you can zip it up and then have your hosting company send it for you. If you depending on the hosting company, I personally use WP Engine. I've been with them for about 2 years now. I really like them. They have really great customer service. But if you're hosting it yourself somewhere else, like on Bluehost or like GoDaddy, what you can do is you can take your website, zip it up, and zip up your database, and then you can transfer it to any other location wherever you may need it at. As far as costs go, you can do this on your own completely free, or you can have somebody help you to do this. And then, really and truly, it shouldn't take more than like 1 or 2 hours worth of their time. Um, it just depends on if there's any kind of configurations they need to deal with when they're moving things over on the site. Um, so back to we were talking about products. You have your product, you have a really great product image, you're able to get that in front of your customers. Now you need to think about shipping. How do I actually send my products to customers? When you're doing this, you need to think about the weights of your products. You need to think about the size of the products. Shipping, shipping's not free. And then you need to figure out how you want to do that. So we'll talk about that some more next week during the class. How do you gauge how much to charge for shipping and handling? What I found that works really good is I'll take a product that I have and just go to the post office and have them weigh it out for me, take the dimensions, and that gets the job done. You can create with your WooCommerce site, based upon so many of items sold. It's going to be, like $5 for up to 10 items. Or you can do like a flat rate price. You can do, based on the weight of the item. It kind of just depends. Taxes. I had a question for taxes. So yes, you do need to add taxes into your product. You don't necessarily add that into the price point and just say that everything's tax free. What you'll do is there's a setting inside of your dashboard that will say add taxes on checkout, and it's very transparent. It shows like I have 10 of item X, and then it says taxes, however much taxes on each one of them, and you can either write that out yourself, or you can say like I live in Texas and my tax rate here is 8.25%, I believe. So you're able to um, do it like that for yourself. Let's see. I have another question. Seems like originally it was clothing and furniture, and now it seems like it's Maker's Row is clothing only. I don't know that answer. I'm sorry. I know Maker's Row is the parent company to Embark.live, which I am a part of. Embark.live is a platform for experts such as myself and other experts in the other tech fields that deal with like marketing and like all kinds of different things dealing with enterprise and entrepreneurs. And they help to put people like us in front of people that have questions or people that need help. So that's what I'm aware of on that. I have another question. So great idea to go to the post office to do a weigh-in, etc. How about global shipping? What percentage ratios do we want to add to our products cost? Since we won't necessarily know where, what country their products will be shipped to. So for that, what I've done is I've just honestly asked that at the post office. If you can specify to, let's say you only want to ship locally in the United States, you can specify for that in your products, in your dashboard, in your settings. If you specify that you want to ship globally, there's a plugin that you can use. There's an additional piece that you can use that will help you to calculate that shipping costs. I know recently I shipped something to Germany for an old client of mine, and it ended up costing me like $25 for shipping to get it there. It was like a T-shirt and like a hat or something like that. So definitely it's worth looking into. Normally the post office can help you with that, or a different shipping company can help you with that. If you're not sure, I would say just do your research online, see what it would cost. You can guesstimate a lot of these prices um, according to uh, um, kind of just a ballpark range of what the weights are and the sizes are. Awesome. Okay. Uh, cool. So we were talking about the images, the weights, the shipping it, and then also, what's really important is that's great that we can see it. We have a price point for sending it out. What about the description? You can be as granular as you like to be. Like right now, I'm working on a site for a salon, and they do hair and they do skin. That's kind of the industries that they or the verticals that they're taking care of. So I have separate products that are specifically only hair products. I have tags that say hair, that say Redken, that say Vidal Sassoon, whatever. Um, you can add in like this is a conditioner, this is a shampoo, so that way when customers are searching for it, they're able to get exactly what they want. You're able to get them in front of the product with the best description possible. Being as transparent as possible will help to get through scene. Um, One thing that's really important that I found that helps, even for small stores and large stores of the same, setting up a store landing page. Uh, WooCommerce will give you a storefront. They'll give you the cart. They'll give you the all things you need to do to sell your products. But you want to start thinking about what's important to your customers. What is their user experience like? Um, I like to set up a store landing page that'll have different categories um, for the user, so that they go down the right vertical. That you don't want to be searching for back to the salon. You don't want to be searching for skin products if you're looking for hair products. So if you can help to funnel your clients into the right side of your store, it's going to help them with their experience, help them to recommend you for future endeavors, and keep people coming to your store. So that's pretty important. Um, Another thing that's really important to add in to your store, and depending on the business, of course, I would imagine. So since everything's moving to this digital world, and people are doing less and less in person right now, maybe thinking about some sort of customer intake form, or a way to start with an appointment. You can do all these things from your site. You can uh, create a way to schedule. Get the person's first name, get their email address, get their phone number. Get what they're here for. If you have services, get all that stuff set up so it can be automated, which takes the stress off of you, the owner of the business. It's really important to have those kind of things set up in your site, and then you can integrate that stuff in as well into WooCommerce if you want to. If you wanted to set up, taking the payment over the web, you can do that. So all these things are kind of what you can integrate into WooCommerce, and it's just a very minimal amount of some ideas. Um, that's about all I have for today. Does anybody have any other questions? Anything they'd be interested in learning about? I'll just give it a minute or so. Okay, so I have a question. Do you need WooCommerce and Shopify, or which one is more user friendly? Um, the way I would answer that is they're both user friendly. Um, what it would really depend on is, um, well, I guess what kind of experience you're wanting to have. I would say do a little bit of research on both. Personally, I prefer WooCommerce, but it doesn't mean I haven't used Shopify. From a developer standpoint, like WooCommerce is easier to work with, but from a no code standpoint, I would say Shopify is, because Shopify will will give you your website. They'll do all of the back end of setting up your products and setting up your all the management tools, setting up everything all in one location for you. As you expand your business with Shopify, you can integrate, like I was saying earlier, your like AWS store, your Amazon store, your Google store. Um, but that doesn't mean it can't be done with WooCommerce. But Shopify does all that in there for you. The only issue is that they do charge you for those things as you add them in. You'd basically add a plugin, and it'd be like a monthly fee for each plugin, whichever ones you add in. But yes, you can definitely do that. So depending on your budget and depending on your skill level is how I'd make that decision. I would say definitely just do a little bit of research, search some pros and cons on the two. Uh, I know with Shopify, you can start your 14-day trial for free. WooCommerce, it definitely helps if you have a web hosting website somewhere with WordPress. I hope that answers that question for you. Let's see. Next question is, how do you integrate WooCommerce into your site? So if you are using WordPress, Ali, you can go to your plugins and then go to Add New and then search for WooCommerce. Then you hit download and activate, and it's that simple. You have it integrated into your site, and then you can start creating out your products, and then setting up your payment gateway. It comes normally with Stripe and PayPal. Between the two, they're pretty much the same product between the two, with some slight variation and differences. It's kind of personal preference, I feel. I've used both of them in the past. You can also integrate other things like Authorize.net or like Square into it. It kind of just depends whatever your company is using. I know some companies have like different points of sales that they use in house. The nice thing about it is you can integrate those points of sales into WooCommerce, so you can use that to manage your stock, manage your payments, all of that from one place. So you can also then send customers to purchase from your store online, and then it'll ship it, and it'll mark that inside of your actual stock inside the store if you have some sort of tool set up for that. Let's see. Does it allow you to sell from a blog? So WooCommerce, you can definitely integrate that to selling from your blog. I actually helped a woman who's a writer a few months ago. She just published her first book, and she had her blog site. So I helped her to integrate her book into her site, and she was so happy. She had so many sales in the first few hours that it actually crashed her site, which was, I mean, that's not the best thing, but it's kind of exciting to know that you had so many of your fans coming out that they wanted to purchase your book, and it was really cool. So yes, it can be integrated into your blog. You can also add a blog into your Shopify store as well if you wanted to do that too. Let's see. The next question is, which vendor has the best? Which vendor has the best business intelligence or analytics type report? If someone pursues our sites or puts something in the cart but doesn't actually buy, what type of reporting aspects should we look for to best help us track our potential customers? Sure. So both of them have what's called a abandoned cart feature. You can set up a way to track that at different time intervals, so your customers can get an email, or if they have a phone number inside of it, they can get a phone text message. They'll get a notification, and then after like a certain amount of time, it'll then drop off just cancel the sale for you. I know definitely abandoned carts can be a big cost and burden on sites and stores, especially on the e-commerce side, because you're not necessarily able to calculate what's actually been sold. Because once it's in the cart, it marks it off as sold, but it's not actually there. So those can be integrated on both places, both platforms. As far as business intelligence or analytics, so WooCommerce will have its own analytics and intelligence on what people are doing inside your store. Uh, so will Shopify. Normally, what I do though is I integrate a tool called Google Sitekit, and that's basically Google's analytics. It does Google My Business, Google Optimize, Google Analytics, Google Tags, Google you name it, it does it. It connects everything together. You can then monitor traffic to and from your site, all the different clicks and the time people are spending in your site. Um, I recommend that 100%. It's a free to use tool, and the only thing you'll end up paying is if you start doing things like creating ads, which you can do all from that same location inside your dashboard. And then ads are based upon your budget with the ads. That's how that works. Let's see. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Does anybody else have any other questions? Anything that they're interested in while I'm here? Let's give it about a minute or so. I know I touched base on this a little bit earlier, but I'm really kind of excited. I'm working on one website for a client, and they have a product that just it floats around in its space, and then when you mouse over certain sides of it, it pops out information about what it is doing and what its qualifications are. And I think it's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to creating more places like that or more storefronts like that. That way we can integrate that. I think it's really neat to see visuals that you can see all around the product. I have a question on how do we contact me. So you can definitely reach out to me through the feed here or through embark.live. I will definitely be on again next week for the 1 hour long class. So people will be able to answer more questions there. But reaching out at me through embark.live is the best way to get a hold of me. Um, let's see. Realistically, to create a good site, how long will it take for someone with minimal tech experience using WooCommerce, Shopify, etc.? So with minimal tech experience, I would recommend going the Shopify route. You find yourself a free template that looks nice. It's functional. It does all the things for you of a home page, of an about section, of a storefront page, all the cart functionality that you would need. Um, I think in a reasonable amount of time, you can probably get that built out in about a week with Shopify. And then, like I said, you got a 14-day free trial there. So I get no benefit from saying that. It's just personal experience with different sites there. That would be the easiest way to get it done. You can, if you're working at it for about a week, I think you can get that in there, depending on how many products, of course. I mean, if you have hundreds of products, it might take a little bit longer. But if you have maybe about 20, I think you can get that there. So how do you beta test the sites? So what you can do is Shopify will give you a hidden link that you have to have a login, like a username and a password to view, and you can share that with your testers. For WooCommerce, the way I would do that is normally when I'm working on a WordPress site, I will have a staging site and a production site. So staging is typically something that you don't show customers. it's work in progress. You're able to then edit it and go from there. So you would send your testers to your staging site, and they would be able to say, oh, this is looking good, this is broken, this needs to be adjusted. So that's the way I would go about it, like that. Do we have any other questions, guys? Anything else that's while I'm around? You have me for a little bit longer. Well, I'm gonna stick around for like about a minute or so to go still. I'm gonna just reintroduce myself again. I'm James Lockwood, developer and digital marketer for Poppy Digital by way of Makers Row and Embark.live. Uh, Remember to book a seat on my group Q&A. The link's in the caption. I'm also gonna retouch the Restream walkthrough for references. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. What time next week? I believe it's around the same. No, I believe it's at 5 o'clock next week, and that's Eastern time. I'm sure I will. We'll put that information inside our chat as well, inside the YouTube and the Facebook and the LinkedIn feed as well. I have another question. So, photo quality, JPEG versus PNGs. Thoughts about minimizing photos? They can take up a lot of space. Yes. Yes, Selena, it will be next Friday. Yes. So pictures are definitely a big, and it's very important to think about the formats and the sizes of your images and the quality of your images. What I like to do is I like to start with a big image, and then I will either compress them myself outside of the site, or I will use a tool to compress them inside the site. But the higher the quality image, the better it will look. You can always shrink an image. It's the resizing it, the making it bigger that will make it blurry and unclear for your users. Um, I like to go with an SVG image because it does resize a lot easier. Um, and then you can also do things with the if it is a like a color image, like a you can change its color like black, white, red, green, whatever you want it to do. If it's just a normal picture, you can its resizing skills are just it's a lot better to resize. It doesn't distort the quality of the picture. Um, Hope that answers it. I know uh, for things about keeping people on your site when you are looking at bounce rates and stuff like that, you definitely want to think about having a smaller compressed image than having a heavier image. It helps to keep people there thinking about time it takes for the first content paint and time it takes for things to load on your site. Which compression app do I like to use? Depending on what I'm working on, if I'm doing a WordPress site, I like to use Smush. If I'm working on something outside of WordPress, like just a HTML site or whatever, I'll use tinyimages.com, and what that does is it shrinks the image. It'll compress it for me. It works on images. You can convert them to different types, and then you can do things like changing the form, the types of like videos and things like that. So I think it's definitely really good to use. But you can always just Google, look for what other people are using. And the nice thing about technology is um, it's not like it was in school. People don't, you want to see what other people are doing. When you find that it's working for somebody else, nothing says you can't use the same tool that they're using to make your stuff better. Always, you can always think about reusing reusing the wheel. There's no reason to recreate it. Let's see. I have a question. Loading sites can be a big problem. Nobody likes to wait too long for a page to build. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So making sure that you have a good quality site and making sure that it's optimized. There's not a bunch of extra things. Like one thing I like to tell my customers is, let's say you have a bunch of different plugins on your site and a bunch of different themes on your site because you were testing stuff out. Well, when you're ready to go live, you want to get rid of the extra stuff. There's no reason to bring the extra baggage along. All it does is slow your site down because it's heavier, it's extra stuff that it's bringing, and then it leaves an opportunity for potential spam and potential um, uh, hacks into your site. I know I was just working with a client of mine a couple of weeks ago, and her website is getting spammed from Tokyo Levi's, and it's in a different language altogether, and we ended up removing all of it. But yeah, you just getting rid of the stuff you don't need will help with page speed and will help with keeping it from being hacked or messed with by anybody. So, do we have any other questions, guys? Anything else on your all's mind? Good call. Out to hacks and spam. Are all these sites encrypted? So one thing to look at when you're looking into domains and looking into setting the DNS settings inside of your site is making sure that you get uh, I blinked out for a second there. Making sure you're getting the S at the end of your HTTP. What that's doing is that is setting up a secured site. Um, it's called an SSL certificate. That's what it's called. So that's making sure that you're setting up the site so it's secured. If you ever notice when you go to some websites, you have the little lock in your URL. That means it's set up as a secured site. Um, and then when it sort of shows that it's broken, or if you get that redirect to, this isn't a safe site, that's something that Google is saying that you need to be careful where you're at. The site may or may not be spammed, or it may or not be open for people to get into your information and stuff like that. So, taking care of your certificate, your SSL certificate, will keep your site safer. Um, Integrating good tools into your site, like I use like Jetpack to help with that for myself, and I use another tool to help with monitoring of my spam. I can't ever pronounce it. It's I'll put the name in it in the site. The site. I believe that it's something close to that. It's a plugin. I can never pronounce it though. I'm sorry, but it helps to block like spam comments and malicious messages inside of your site. So it's um, always good to block that kind of stuff. You don't want to have that going on in your site. Yeah. So all in all, I mean, look forward to seeing everybody next week. Uh, Again, I'm James Lockwood, web developer, digital marketer at Poppy Digital, by way of here today through Makers Row at Embark.live. So I look forward to seeing everybody next week. I'll hang out a couple more seconds longer if anybody has any other questions. Absolutely, Joanne. Absolutely, yeah. I really enjoy doing this, and I love helping people to get their brick and mortars into the digital world. That's my thing. I like to see people get to that next step. It's really it's a weird entertainment thing that I have. I don't know. It's nice to see people get to that ability to help their customers and stuff. So yeah. Well, I guess that's it then, guys. I will let all y'all go, and I look forward to seeing everybody. And then feel free to reach out if you have any questions, either on the chat or through Embark.live. See y'all next time.